Everyone could please stand for the national anthem, led by Professor Emeritus Dr. Saul Wax. You are welcome to take photos, but we ask that you silence yourself. Please be seated.
Welcome to the 119th commencement in the proud history of Gratz College. I'm Paul Finkelman. I have the honor of being the president of Gratz College, and it is a delight to welcome all of you here. We have staff, faculty, the Board of Governors, family members, and of course our graduates. I would like all of our graduates to stand and turn around and thank the people who got you here. You have done enormous work to get here. It is the people behind you who were behind you throughout the process. And so I thank all of you for letting your children, spouses, relatives, friends, family members come to Gratz. I would now like to welcome to the podium Michelle Portnoff, the chair of the Board of Governors.
As chair of the Gratz College Board of Governors, I'm honored to welcome you to commencement. I bring greetings on behalf of Chair-elect Rabbi Lance Sussman, President Paul Finkelman, Interim Dean Dr. Honor Moore, to our distinguished guests, faculty, staff, and students, especially the class of 2019. Your degree is the culmination of hard work and shows your dedication to an important goal. You have a lot to be proud of, and so does your alma mater. Next year, Gratz will celebrate its 125th anniversary. During its tenure, Gratz College has grown to offer 9 master's and 2 doctoral degrees, and has students and faculty across the country and the world. You should also be proud that Gratz College was one of the first institutions in the country to grant degrees to women alongside men, and continues to foster open discussion and deep academic inquiry. Graduates, Gratz College salutes your hard work, applauds your accomplishments, and looks forward to your contributions. Congratulations and best wishes for the future.
We are awarding 2 honorary degrees today. The first is to Dr. Michael Steinhoff, Professor Emeritus and former Director of the Holocaust and Genocide Studies Program. He could not be with us today, but Dr. Joseph Davis will be accepting his degree in absentia. In recognition of his achievements, the President and Board of Governors of Gratz College are delighted to confer upon Dr. Michael C. Steinhoff the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Letters, honoris causa. This day, 19th May, 2019. I would now like to ask my board chair, Michelle, to come back up to the podium.
President Finkelman, I have the high honor and distinct privilege of presenting to you John Anderson Fry for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. I would also like to invite Mr. Leon Levy to assist. It is my honor to introduce John Anderson Fry, the President of Drexel University. Today, Gratz College presents John Fry with an honorary degree in Humane Letters. In bestowing this honorary degree, Gratz recognizes President Fry's extraordinary leadership and service in the realm of higher education. In all of his leadership roles, in his current role as President of Drexel, and formerly as the President of Franklin and Marshall College, and prior to that, as the Executive Vice President of the University of Pennsylvania, President Fry has led with a vision that has not only strengthened and transformed the institutions in which he has served, but also has paved a path for other leaders in higher education to follow. Through his leadership, President Fry has demonstrated that the university can and should serve the communities in which they are located, that they have a responsibility to engage directly with neighborhood and city stakeholders in the hard work of building inclusive economic and education ecosystems in which the university is part of a larger whole. Under his leadership, Drexel has helped lead the continuous revitalization of West Philadelphia, spearheading the designation of this area as a federal promise zone and initiating Schuylkill Yards, a 14-acre innovation district at 30th Street Station. In addition to leading Drexel, Fry serves as chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia, concluding his tenure in October of 2018. As an individual, President Fry also demonstrates his genuine commitment to serving his community. For instance, when Gratz College began the search for a new president in 2017, President Fry made himself available to us when we sought his advisement. And now, as a member of the board of the Agnes Irwin School, he is serving on the search committee to help identify a new head of school. These are just a few examples of his personal service to the community. Perhaps because our institutions were both founded in the same era of Philadelphia history, a time of great technological innovation, industry, social change, and optimism, Drexel and Gratz are institutions that share a common vision for the purpose of education. We believe that it is our role to prepare the next generations of leaders with the knowledge, skills, and experience they need to make the world a better place. For all of these reasons, it is with great pride that Gratz College bestows the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters on President John Anderson Fry. His leadership will surely inspire those who follow for generations to come.
In recognition of his achievements, the President and the Board of Governors of Gratz College are delighted to confer upon John Anderson Fry the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, this 19th day of May, 2019.
President Finkelman, Chairperson Hartnoff, distinguished members of the Board of Governors, honored guests, good afternoon, everyone. And graduates, congratulations, you did it. Fantastic. This is your day, and you've earned this celebration through determination, hard work, academic success, and just completely devoting yourself to your work while I'm sure you're balancing a whole bunch of other things, family and friends. And so what a wonderful moment. I'm so happy for every one of you. We're incredibly proud of you and what you've achieved. To Gratz College, I want to say thank you. For many reasons, this honorary degree means a great deal to me. I'll mention two of the most important. First, I feel a very strong kinship between our institutions. Gratz College and Drexel University may stand a dozen miles apart according to Google Maps, but they are practically neighbors, ideologically speaking. I believe true kindred spirits. And I'll say more about that in a moment. Second, this is a really wonderful occasion for me on a deeply personal level, because this honor renews the memory of a cherished mentor. D. Walter Cohen was Chancellor Emeritus of the Drexel University College of Medicine, who encouraged me to accept this honorary degree with Leon Levy as our witness. So here, his name will be familiar to many. When he was just a teenager, Walter studied Hebrew at Gratz. And those afternoons spent in study helped him to grow into the man he became. A man who came to believe in and support wholeheartedly the mission of Gratz, which in part is to teach Jewish values. And among those values, the search for growth and knowledge, compassion, justice, and giving back. In fact, his distinguished career in dentistry and academia included a 7-year stint on the Gratz Board of Governors, concluding in 2009. At his memorial last summer, I mentioned his many achievements, his devotion to Judaism, which led to his work with Hebrew University, work that in turn inspired significant research collaborations that Drexel subsequently established in Jerusalem. I mentioned that he cared deeply about the Jewish students at our university and that he was a staunch advocate and generous donor to our Judaic Studies program. And he was one of the first major donors to our Raymond G. Perlman Center for Jewish Life, now the beautiful home of Drexel Hillel. It opened in 2016, just as we were celebrating Walter's 90th birthday. But what was most meaningful about Walter was this. When I came to Drexel in 2010, Walter immediately embraced me. And during his last 8 years, he just bestowed upon me a series of gifts which I will ever hold dear. The gift of his presence and the gifts of his empathy and compassion and appreciation. He was someone who had walked in my shoes, and he found the time to give me the strength and encouragement to seek my way as the new president of Drexel. I miss his advice on more days than I could say. So, in his honor, may Walter's memory always be a blessing. As I mentioned, I feel a kinship between our two institutions, and those connections are instructive for what they say about higher education, community, and progress in Philadelphia. And graduates, I hope that you have a lifelong connection with, and hopefully a deep affection for Gratz College. We certainly see that connection among Drexel alumni who celebrated their reunions on campus just this very weekend. For a theme that underpins our missions, both of our institutions could well point to the thinking of the 18th century teacher and philosopher Rebbe Nachman. The revered rabbi reminded us, and I quote, "If you are not a better person tomorrow than you are today, what need have you for tomorrow? If you are not a better person tomorrow than you are today, what need have you for tomorrow?" As the only college offering an online doctorate in the Holocaust and Genocide Studies, Gratz has a solid claim to the idea that we can all become better versions of ourselves. And for Drexel, for nearly a decade, we have been striving to improve our surrounding community by working to become the country's most civically engaged university. These are grand ambitions, and I think they stem back from an ethos that reaches all the way back to our 19th century founders of Gratz and Drexel. The businessman Hyman Gratz created a college to serve the Jewish community, educating teachers and others. His desire was to build talent for the new world that was emerging. His vision was profoundly egalitarian and also shared by his sister, Rebecca Gratz, whose far ahead of its time Hebrew Education Society of Philadelphia eventually joined to form Gratz. No wonder this college was one of only two in the region that put women on par with men. The other was Drexel. Founded only a few years earlier than Gratz by the Wall Street pioneer Anthony J. Drexel, the Drexel Institute of Art, Science, and Industry was like Gratz, dedicated to raising educational opportunities for men and women, people of all races and creeds, who hadn't before had access to higher learning. Today, these are evolved institutions. The majority of Gratz students are not Jewish. The majority of Drexel students are not studying engineering, which was for decades the core discipline for us. And both institutions are training citizens as much as they are training advanced degree holders. With its emphasis on distance learning, Gratz has used technology to innovate and pivot to the times in order to expand access to graduate level training. Your graduate students are working adults, many of whom are making careers in social justice professions as teachers with nonprofits and doing research. For us at Drexel, the corollary is for this effort to foster inclusive growth, with jobs, of course. Everyone wants to do that. But our work to grow opportunity is about searching deep into the communities of great need that surround us in West Philadelphia, in the Federal Promise Zone, and beyond. So how do we do that? It happens just across the street from 30th Street Station on 14 Drexel-owned acres. It's here that we are working with our partners to build an innovation district known as Schuylkill Yards. This will be a decades-long project that eventually, in the buildings that are built, will bring jobs in the life sciences and information technology and financial services and many other growth-oriented fields. Because the art of this idea is that how do you link a poverty-challenged promise zone to an innovation district and do so in authentic ways? We are trying to do that by readying people in our community to take many of those jobs, by working with over 5,000 children in 7 local West Philadelphia public schools to improve achievement. And we're enhancing lifelong learning opportunities for adults in the community through an urban extension center that we created 5 years ago. This is all part of what I view as the anchor institution role that colleges and universities, places like Gratz and Drexel, increasingly are called upon to serve, especially in urban areas. In part, it's trying to fill a vacuum left by cuts in government funding. But we, institutions like Drexel and Gratz, have a moral obligation as well. In the Judaic tradition, this is known as tikkun olam, the belief that we need to repair the world. I hope that for you, our graduates, either those who are setting out on their careers or taking new steps along a well-established route, I hope that the idea that we need to create a better world is appealing. Throughout this commencement season, graduates, just like you, will hear all manner of advice from speakers like me, who are lucky enough to be given this honor. Many of them will advise you to look after yourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I have every confidence that this group of graduates already has taken such advice to heart. I'm sure that you will strive for a life to live life to the fullest and let your reach exceed your grasp and follow your dreams and know thyself and never let the perfect be the enemy of the good, and on and on and on and on. But to the extent that you can focus outside of yourself and subscribe to the goal of actually repairing the world, then I know that you cannot go wrong. At our institutions and in our one-on-one interactions, I truly believe that we can build and need to build a better world. It will be a world crafted out of one that is in need of honest brokers of information, a world in need of renewed respect for facts, a world in need of loyalty to the power of memory, in need of an end to all forms of hate, and in need of a growing opportunity made possible by communities rooted in compassion and fairness. Graduates, you are part of a proud legacy. Gratz College has rightly been described as a hidden gem, but it is so much more than that. And graduates, you are now the beneficiaries of that proud tradition. We are given gifts in life. It is up to us to try to appreciate them, as I did the gift of friendship that Walter Cohen presented to me. Your Gratz experience is such a gift. I hope you will cherish it, and I hope you will pay it forward. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Fry. Dr. Moore.
Will all the candidates for degrees please rise? President Finkelman, subject to the completion of all requirements as prescribed by the governors and faculty of Gratz College. These candidates are presented for receipt of the master's and doctoral degrees with all the associated rights and privileges. I present to you these candidates for degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, granted to the Board of Governors of Gratz College by the Act of the Legislature in 1849, I do hereby confer upon you the degree which you have earned with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining. Will the candidates for the degrees of Masters of Arts and Masters of Science please come forward?
For the degree of Master of Arts in Education, Stephanie Blake. Alyssa Cipriano.
We have a slight change of plans here because the business manager for Gratz College is Tom Cipriano, and so he will have the honor of giving the degree to his daughter.
Rosalind Custis Williams. Erica Klinger. Sarah Long. Rosanna Matos. Allison Morris. Christine Slagle. Karen Silverberg. For the degree of Master of Arts in Holocaust and Genocide Studies, Donald P. Cummings. Mary Ellen Coriel Marsh. Mary Catherine Matello. Elizabeth Wheaton Philpart. For the degree of Master of Jewish Professional Studies, David Best. Master of Arts in Jewish Studies, Sarah Gruber Engel.
Just a second. I just want to say that Sarah is one of our older graduates, but young in all other ways. And she is accompanied by her granddaughter, who has also worked for us at Gratz.
Wendy Rodenchik. Rumel Leonette Scott. Master of Science in Nonprofit Management, Jessica Sheffield. I would like to invite Dr. Davis, Director of the Doctor of Education and Jewish Education Program, to come forward and assist in the hooding of the candidate for the degree of Doctor in Education in Jewish Education. President Finkelman, I have the high honor and distinct privilege of presenting to you Shelley Alexander, who has successfully completed all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Education in Jewish Education.
I should also add that Dr. Alexander gets the award for coming the furthest. She flew in from Haifa, Israel. And while her husband gets the award for traveling furthest to see a family member get the degree, her two children get second place runner-up coming from California. I would like to invite Rosanna Matos to the podium. Her address was chosen by the Commencement Committee to be shared with you today.
All right, let me breathe so I won't get so nervous. I want to start by saying good afternoon to everyone, to the Board of Governors, President Finkelman, distinguished guests, faculty, the graduating class of 2019, and most importantly, our friends and families here. I want to thank Gratz College for allowing me to share my story and use this opportunity to inspire others. I want to thank my husband, my children, my abuela, that's probably the only word she's gonna understand, for being here today and always believing in me. Before I can talk about what education is for me, I must tell you how education looked as I grew up. I remember my mother walking me to preschool and then walking to the L to catch a train to go to work. At night, after she finished helping me with her homework, I remember books and a typewriter on the dining room table as she was preparing to take her GED. You see, my mother did not finish high school because she was too busy raising me. Education for me was seeing my mother pursue her GED and knowing how important that was for her. Education for me since has been to complete that dream she envisioned, but did not fully complete. However, she did not stop trying. She went off and got a few certificates from trade schools. She never tried college, and that is something I never got to ask her. but she did encourage me to do so, even during my toughest times. In 1999, I was living in Puerto Rico, and I too became a teenage mom. But now I knew that I must do different. I must learn from the errors that I witnessed and educate myself to do better. I continued high school while having a child, who's here today, and looked for ways to make it work. In the vocational school where I went, there was a child care center. It was mainly for the school staff, but I used it as well. So as I went to school to pursue my education, I took my son to school to pursue his. Do you see how story repeats itself? I looked for ways that I could go to school and my son could be taken care of, because I know that working hard now would mean that I will have a better future. I was able to earn high honors and a scholarship to go to college for accounting. However, I realized math is really hard, really hard, and did not finish. Years later, I came back to live in Philadelphia, and the opportunity to go to college again came to me. My family was there to back me up, and once again, there to help me with my son. I completed my associate's degree, then went straight for my bachelor's. Before I completed my degree, my bachelor's degree, my mother passed away due to medical complications. I took what she believed in and continued it. I finished my bachelor's, magna cum laude, got my PA teaching certification, and today I am completing my master's with you good-looking guys there. One thing I learned throughout the years is that education is obtained in many ways, because there is so much to learn. If one is in pursuit of knowledge, they're evolving, adapting, and growing. Growing up, I saw this firsthand, and then I used it as fuel for myself. Today, I take advantage of free professional development, workshops, and different things to learn more, be exposed to new ideas, and collaborate with others. Because I know that education is ongoing, one thing at Gratz that I truly value was learning by hearing the experiences of my fellow classmates. Shout out to you guys. As an education student, I understand the importance of educating others and doing it effectively. But what is education if you're not using it to serve your community? You see, education should be of equal importance of your community service. And I'm not talking about the one on the side of the highway with the orange jumpsuits. I'm talking about real community service. I'm really asking, what value does knowledge have if it's not used to uplift your community? A few years ago, I became a first-year teacher at a nonprofit, blocks away from where my mother took me for preschool. This is where I fell in love with education, the pursuit of it, and how I can change our community. I challenge you, the Gratz College graduating class of 2019, to take what you have learned here at Gratz and what you learn each day, but don't stop there. Pursue education in unconventional ways, even online, and then go to your community and put what you have learned into action. Be that person of inspiration to others and uplift others who are hungry to make a better life for themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The essence of Gratz is what we've been hearing about today from President Fry and from our student, who eloquently represents all of you. And this is why we are here, and this is why you are now the alums of Gratz College. And with that in mind, I would like to invite to the podium Kathy Elias, who is a member of our Board of Governors, and like you, an alum of Gratz College.
In 2009, I received my Master of Arts in Jewish Studies, and it was one of the most important things that I ever worked for, and I sat where you sit. So I would like to formally, on behalf of all of us who have been in your position, welcome you to the alumni community. And as Rosanna just beautifully said, as you helped each other in this time while you were studying and learning together, and it was your collective knowledge that continues and propels you forward, the alumni community is there for you and continues to be there for you as well. I worked, especially, I'm retired now, but in the last 5 years of my career, I worked in the Jewish community, and I traveled all over the continent, all over the US and Canada, and I lost count of how many people I met who went through Gratz College. Sometimes I met them in boardrooms, and sometimes I met them on a train or an airline flight. 2 months ago, I was volunteering for a hospital program, and the director of the hospital program went to Gratz College. I was organizing a meeting last week on behalf of the board of directors for Gratz College, and the person I was asking to come to this advisory conference call said, well, you know, I went to Gratz College. So keep your eyes open. Look for others who have gone the same path that you have gone. Your network now is an international network. You'll be given information about how to stay in touch with Gratz College, how to connect and tell us your stories as you move forward and do your good work and continue your learning. And also join us, come back for our 125th anniversary celebration next year. I really hope to see you again, and your smiles today, take them into the world and represent Gratz College, and good luck with the rest of your work.
As the ceremony draws to a close, we continue the Gratz College tradition of singing the national anthem of Israel, Tikva, which means the hope, in honor of the college's Jewish legacy and in celebration of the optimism that we feel, is yet another remarkable group of Gratz alumni go forth to make the world a better place. Please turn to the back page of your brochure and rise for Tikva, which will be led again by Dr. Saul Gratz. Please remain standing for the benediction given by Rabbi Lance Sussman.
God of all people, eternal one of the universe, as this ceremony draws to an end, we offer a final word of gratitude for the opportunity to learn and to grow. We are thankful for this community, its teachers, students, and administrators. May it continue to flourish and provide opportunities to learn for generations to come. May all of our families and friends be blessed with health and with happiness. And as we go forward, May we too be blessed with continued personal and professional growth. May this be our blessing. Amen.
Congratulations once again to the Gratz College graduates of 2019. Well done. Enjoy your celebration. We just ask that you remain in your seats until the faculty, board, graduates, and honorees have completed their recessional. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.